Howdy, folks. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you, I'm going to be doing a bit of a D&D video again. And today's video is primarily going to focus on talking about polearms because I feel that when it comes to D&D, the polearm is one of the most overlooked resources in D&D, particularly, especially in third edition. Third edition, they got rid of many polearms that used to be part of advanced second edition D&D that were real historic pole arms, and it's kind of actually disappointing when I think about it because, well, pole arms have a huge history with medieval warfare and just humanity in general. I mean, pole arms like spears was one of the earliest. I mean, they date back to prehistory. The caveman used spears, general terms, a polearm for hunting and defense. And it just seems like to me in general, there's a huge group of weapons that generally, in my opinion, seems to be avoided, especially when you look at adventure parties. Adventure parties generally lack pole arms, but yet pole arms are actually a really good weapon. And even so, enemies tend to lack pole arms as well. So why not take time and when you're building your enemy force for your adventure, say it's going to be a group of goblins, maybe swap out some of their weapons for some spears or even a halberd. Or what about a Beck to Corbin? Also, the other thing I noticed too with polearms is treasure. Treasure also seems to lack polearms as well. Even when you use the random treasure table from the Dungeon Master's Guide, particularly for 3.5 edition, because that's the edition I play. Yes, polearms makes the list sometimes, but pretty rarely. Your chances of getting a random magical polearm is actually pretty slim, especially considering up against swords. So I think realistically, we as DMs need to take time and fix this problem. So, how are we going to do that? Well, I would say, first off, make players aware of polearms. When you set up your town guards and describe your town guards, talk about how said town guards have polearms. Because, well, they would have polearms, actually. Add polearms to purposely add some polearms to the treasure. Maybe every once in a while when they're looting a treasure cove, one of the said players finds, a a Beck to Corbin or a Bardiche or a Glaive or one of the other many other pole arms that's been all over the world. Um, have various knights and guards with pole arms. Have even laws and ordinances dealing with pole arms in general, such as maybe an ordinance where they have to pay a tax, a fee to get into the town with their pole arms, or have some kind of ordinance where the players can enter the town, but they have to have a protective hood or covering over the head of the polearm. Or maybe even make it so they can't enter the town with the polearm at all, and they have to leave it with the town guards until they come back and pick it up. Have enemies, as I said earlier, have enemies armed with polearms. Hobgoblins, orcs, goblins, bugbears, they all use the same type of enemies humans do. So why not give one of them a polearm, especially if they're fighting a group of them, or some spears, or any other type of weapon that would be considered a polearm. Heck, even have units, roving kingdom units armed with polearms, or have displays of polearm training. Things of that nature. I mean, polearms are ridiculously old in human history, and considering how much it gets exploited in D&D is kind of shocking because it really doesn't get exploited. And with that being said, realistically, if the sword, particularly the Armian sword, or what we call the long sword in D&D, is the 1911 of Dungeons and Dragons, then the polearm's the AK-47, folks. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up at that. I'm just kind of sprinkling a little bit of knowledge because, yes, polearms has a very extensive history and was used quite a bit, and even at one point dominated battlefields. Anyway, folks, going to wrap this video up at that. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.